Do you guys ever wonder what you're eating, what it's doing to your body? Well, today's show, I really want to show you how to make some awesome food, really nutritious, very delicious, and 20 minutes flat. Very, very easy. Today I'm going to be doing a really nice dish of a melody of beautiful colored peppers. I'm going to be doing a baked cod, and actually I'm using it on a grill, and I'm doing a strawberry dessert with blueberries and raspberries as well. Well, let's get into the pepper part of this, because I found a lot of really interesting things out when I was starting to create this recipe in particular. Take a look down here on my peppers. They come in a rainbow of colors, pretty awesome. You got the greens, the reds, the orange, the yellows. Now, you know what? The red is the highest in nutrition, highest in vitamin C, which is really quite interesting. The red is nothing more than a tree-ripened or a vine-ripened green. That's all it is. The green is more bitter. You won't see the sweetness there. You see 100% more sweetness with your red. The orange and the yellow are strictly from different seeds. Do you guys ever notice when you have peppers and it's really tastes like water? It's kind of crappy. That's because they're actually picked before they're ripened. And so you're not getting the full flavors. You'll notice, like, take a bite of a green pepper and take a bite of a red one and see the sweetness. It's like killer. Let's go into the recipe. It's really easy. When you're cutting peppers, take a look. I always like flat surfaces, so I cut the bottom right off. That gives me a nice sturdy spot to let it stand up. I'm taking the sides away on each of them. Did I mention, by the way, this is really high in vitamin C, the peppers? They're really good, and it's also 10% of your daily fiber for one medium-sized green pepper. Pretty awesome. I'm looking for cuts just like this, nothing more than that. We're going to be putting it on a cookie sheet. And you want to cut them all basically the same. I'm going after the rainbow effect here. They always say, eat the colors of the rainbow. You can never go wrong. You're going to get all the nutrients, all the minerals you want. Now, I've done a lot of working out. I'm a runner. I'm actually training for a triathlon for next year now. Nutrition is very important to me. When I pick food, I'm picking it with the thought of, what is it doing for me? What am I getting out of this? Eat a bag of chips, tell me how you feel. Eat something as whole as an apple maybe, some peppers, a nice green salad. Tell me how you feel after that. What I've noticed as I'm changing my eating habits is it really speaks to me on how I feel and what I've consumed in my body. Also, when I decide that I'm going to go out for a run or maybe even do some cross training, it's really quite shocking when you see the fuel or the no fuel you have in your system and what happens to you. So now I'm really going to do a big challenge for myself. I've got a year planning on this. I'm trying for, it's called Try a Try actually. I've got to do swimming, which I kind of suck at, to be honest. So I'm hiring a coach for that. I'm really good at running and cycling. So I'm giving myself a year, and I'm going to make it happen not only through my training process, but also through my eating. I'm going to make sure that everything that goes in my mouth this next year is definitely going to make a difference for me in my performance, in how I feel as a person. In saying that, believe me, I am not giving up my wine. Okay, so we're almost here. Take a look at what's going on. The colors are so pretty, super easy. I'm using a nice olive oil. Don't eliminate fat when you're eating healthy. You need those fats. You need it for your brain. It helps to lubricate your brain, helps your thinking. Here we've got the 4 different peppers. I'm using balsamic vinegar. Now, balsamic vinegar, you don't need to go to the big expense of the $15, $20 bottles, because we're going to bake this in the oven and it's going to get sweeter on its own. I'm choosing here now some Cremini mushrooms. Cremini, they're nothing more than a portabello, a baby portabello mushroom. I'm going to quarter these because I want them to be about the same size. Mushrooms are about 99% water. Did you know that? And it actually, believe it or not, these do have protein. There's 1.5 grams of protein in a cup of mushrooms, which surprised the heck out of me, really. I'm trying to go the same size. This is going to go into an oven that's a 350 preheated oven. It's so simple. We're going to season it with our salt and pepper. I wanted to have about a cup of the mushrooms on here. Let's just take a look. Okay, now we're good on this. Okay, all I'm doing here is I'm taking olive oil. Now, again, I'm not going to use extra virgin olive oil, and I'm not doing that for the reason is it's a waste of flavor to me. The extra virgin olive oil, what I end up doing with that is it's for salads. It's nice and fresh. I don't want to cook anything out of it. I don't know if you guys realize or not, but every time you apply heat to anything, be it meat, vegetable, you're actually cooking the nutrients out of it, believe it or not. So take an idea of what you're doing, and that's, in saying that, one of the reasons I'm doing this, I'm cooking it a little bit less. The more heat, the more nutrition you're going to lose out of it. This I'm going to do for a 350 oven, and it's going to go for 15 minutes. That's all it's going to take. Let's season a bit of salt and pepper. And one last little flavoring, actually, I thought of at the end that I want to throw on is some nice rosemary, just to bump it up a tiny bit. There, look, that's ready to go, except for the rosemary. From my garden, love it. Take the back of a knife and just smack it. And while you're doing that is you're bruising it and you're releasing the oils for the rosemary. I'm just popping it on top. And it's going to go in the oven. Okay, Becca, if you have a chance, you can pop this in there for me. Oh, as I said, it's a 350-degree oven. It's going in for 15 minutes, and it will be ready. When we come back, I'm going to introduce you to my boyfriend, George. Welcome back. Okay, well, the veg are roasting really lovely in the oven, 15 minutes, as I said. We're moving on now to our cod. Cod's awesome. It is a huge protein builder for your muscles, something that you should be eating for sure at least once, I'd say once a week, definitely. Now, interesting, cod, there's Pacific and there's Atlantic, two places you can get it. The Pacific cod actually has 22 grams, whereas the Atlantic has 25, 3 grams more. But in saying that, Pacific cod actually is got almost double the amount of vitamin B6 and that of the omega-3, which is really healthy oils that you know the cod liver oil sometimes? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, well, look at this beautiful cod. When you're buying it from your fishmonger, one of the things that you want to do is make sure it's fresh. Always try to get a chance to smell it. It should not smell fishy. It should smell of the ocean. The cod comes like this. This is the cheaper way to buy it. You've got the fillet on the one side and you've got the loin on the other side. It's probably about half the price. From the monger, just slicing down the fillet off here, that's double the price because he's done that work for you. It's not a lot of work to do it, so I'm going to show you how. We're going to place it right on the board here and just slice the fillet off. Very simple. Now, we're going to be using my boyfriend George that I told you, and we're going to get him really excited with this beautiful cod covered in curry, of all things. The nice thing about cooking with George is no oil required. You're just going to let the flavor speak for itself. It's fast and it's easy. I'm going to take this cod and I'm going to cut it into about 4-inch sections. I'm going to leave the tails off. And we're going to go with that right here. With this, all I'm taking is some beautiful, beautiful curry powder. Now, don't cheap out on this stuff, guys. Go for a really expensive quality or make it your own. A lot of you I know will not do that. So just make sure you go for a really good quality. None of this no-name stuff. It's not going to give you what you're looking for. Take a look. I'm just dusting this. And I'm going to hit this on both sides. The one awesome thing about George here is you don't have to turn over. You're getting it done both sides at one time. The loin, the thickness of this loin is about 1.5 inches, I guess. Yeah, I'd say about 1.5 inches. And what's happening here is I'm going to put them on for 8 minutes. And it's going to be done. It's that fast and easy. Notice how I'm taking both sides. This is a very strong curry. So do it to your liking, how much curry you want to put on. But definitely do both sides onto here. And then we're just going to salt and pepper on the one side. That's all I've got going there. Let's get this glove off. Okay, so a little bit of salt and pepper. And then we're going to put it on to George to get some loving. 8 minutes, that's all it's going to take. Okay, let's pop it over. And again, honestly, there is no oil. This is so fantastic. We're going to grab it right on. You can hear the searing. All of the juices of this are going to stay within the fish. It's a really high heat. One of the neat things here is there's actually not a temperature on this gauge. It's just one size fits all, and it's going to take, as I said, 8 minutes. This is going to feed 4 people. Becca, do me a favor and set the timer for 8 minutes on that. Thank you. Okay, now what to do with the rest here? Having a lot of people over here, not a big deal. The fillet part, you can actually cook for 4 minutes. Half the time, same thing's going to happen. Alternately, this is a really nice thin fillet, you want it to speak for itself, you can actually take this for a second meal, freeze it, use it later, cut it. You can just dust it with a tiny little bit of gluten-free flour and fry it in butter, nice and crispy on the outside. Sometimes it's really nice, honestly, just to have the fish speak for itself in its own flavor. You don't need to be dressing it up. Again, this is very, very high in protein. One thing that I'd like to mention, as you go for a run, for example, the one thing that you're looking for when you finish any kind of activity is repairing your muscles. And it needs to be done relatively quickly, within 20 minutes of eating. Of course, you're not going to cook up a fish, but maybe, you know what, if you had George, it's only 8 minutes, so maybe. Morning time, fish wouldn't be my choice of breakfast. But you always, the protein that you're taking in your body, that's actually repairing the muscles that you've broken down. Because when you work out, believe it or not, you're not building the muscle up and making yourself really strong. You're actually destroying that muscle, and the protein is what's going to give you to bring it in to build it back up. So keep that in mind when you're choosing foods, as I mentioned earlier. It's all about, what are we eating? How do you feel? Do you feel good? Do you ever, back in the day, I used to sit on the sofa, popcorn, my weakness, big weakness, huge bowl, and mindless eating, watching a movie, right? I ate the whole bowl, and I'm not kidding. I'm talking like 10 freaking cups of popcorn. Crazy. Now, good fiber, great, I guess, but I pay attention these days of what's going in, and I really am noticing a difference on anything that I do, from waking up in the morning to cooking for you guys. Okay, well, we got George happening here. Let's move on to dessert. I want to show you this. Who doesn't love dessert? Even when you're eating healthy, there is absolutely no reason that you should not have to say, I cannot indulge. You can. Again, food choices, what are they going to be? You want to eat clean, you want to eat pure food. I've just whipped up some beautiful whipped cream. I'm using the real deal here. It's 35% full fat, but don't even worry about that, because you're only going to have a bit. I read a book way back in the day, Why French Women Don't Get Fat. You know, they eat incredible chocolate, they eat the best of the best. Keep in mind, though, they ride bikes everywhere. That's why they don't get fat. When you eat, 80% of what you're eating, that's who you are. 20% of what you do is your exercise, is your fitness. So keep that in mind when you're doing it. The amount of food you're eating, opposed to what you're doing as activity, keep that in mind. Okay, look at how nice this dessert is. It's very simple. I'm taking that beautiful whipped cream, a little bit going in. Blueberries, super high in antioxidants. They are so good for you. Little goes a long way. One of the things about berries, not just that they're so good for you, they really contain a high volume of fiber. Look at how pretty that is already now. So I've got 2 layers on the go. I'm going to take another layer of whipped cream, and we're going to grab some strawberries. Let me just grab this little spoon here. Or sorry, raspberries I'm going to put on top. Look at how pretty that is. And a little does go a long way. You know what I find is when I have supper, and my body's telling me, you know, it's enough, stop eating. I'm kind of hungry, but I don't think that it's that I'm hungry. I think that the thing that I'm thinking is that I need to change my taste. I've got to have that little tiny bit of sweetness coming in here. So this is it. It's so simple, really delicious, and really that's all you need on that. Okay, I don't think George is going to be that much longer, and I believe that my vegetables are ready. So we've got how much time left on here, Becca? 4 minutes. Oh, 4 more minutes on that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this away. Bring me in my vegetables. I think they're good to go. Let's talk a little bit about how they're coming out now. Thank you. Okay, take a look. They are so beautiful. As I said, I cooked them for 15 minutes only. I still have nutrition in here. I don't want them to be a big mushy mesh. When we come back, I'm going to take a look at plating this whole meal together and showing you how delicious and easy this is to finish off. Welcome back. Looks like George has done his job, ready to go to the plate. When I plate, I believe the eye eats first. I always do. A little bit of Cal greens going on here. Going to grab some of this beautiful cod. Take a look. It's perfectly cooked. Boy, George has totally done his job here, really. Now, what goes really nice with cod is lemon, all fish actually. And lemons are actually very good for you as well. Let's pop all our fish off on here. Boy, that's starting to look good. That's really starting to look good. Okay, little trick on my lemon here. What we're going to do, I'm gonna roll it a little bit first. I want to get as much juice loosened off the membranes as possible. All I'm doing is cutting it in half. And I'm actually going to cut here to give myself a little bit of a flat surface again. This is going right on the grill. I'm doing it just to give a little smoky flavor to it. Warm up the juice to extract as much juice as possible. Get that out of the way. Close it down again. Now, I'm probably going to leave it there for maybe 2 minutes. Let me just get this out of the way and wait till you see these vegetables. Delicious, absolutely delicious. I'm going to put the vegetables on the other side. Let me just grab here. Just line them up. This actually is going to be feeding a family for 4, by the way. Look at how pretty this is. All the colors, it's screaming at you, eat me. Okay, and I'm putting that on the other side. That balsamic vinegar and that olive oil really sweetened up in the oven while the vegetables were cooking. Brought out the sweetness more of the peppers as well, especially, like I said earlier, the red peppers. We've got that. Now, what I've done here is I decided last minute that I wanted to make some brown rice. I'd like to talk to you about that, if you don't mind. Rice, you know what, it's a big staple in people's lives. Most people say, forget brown, don't want it. They go with the white. Nutritionally dead, 100% dead. If you want your fiber factor, if you want to get bumped up with nutrition here, go with the brown. And by the way, I just want to give you a fast little comment on this one. With the rice, never mind the measuring of, 2 cups water, 1 cup rice, forget all that stuff. All you do is fill a pot up. Just fill it right up, bring it to the boil. Throw your rice in, you're putting it in for 15 minutes tops, usually 12 minutes. Take a little taste, see if you're at. At that point, you strain it in a colander. Every time you are going to get perfect rice just like this. It's not going to be stuck together, it's not going to be a mushy mess. It's still going to have that little bit of crunch to it that you're looking for. Well, let's just pop this down the center. Now what I've created here is for a family of 4, and literally start to finish 20 minutes, that's it. So there's no excuse to say, you know what, I can't eat healthy, I don't have the time, I'm just going to buy that processed crap food that's out there. You get home from work, this is nothing, this is absolutely nothing for you to do. I can hear my lemon sizzling. Let's take a look at what's going on there. Perfect. Take a look at that. We're going to just put them right there. A little bit warm to the fingers. See how the juices all come out nice and soft? Becca, would you do me a favor and grab me some tongs so I can squeeze this, please? Okay, now I think George really has outdone himself. I love this puppy. I'm telling you, it's the best thing in the world. Let's go back to one more plating of dessert so I can show you what's happening again. Okay, remember, the real deal. Make sure it's 35% full fat cream. This one I'm going to put in the bottom. A little bit too much there. Usually you can do about a tablespoon. That's plenty. That's all you're going to need. You are going to get full off of this. It's going to change your flavor buds from what you've had for lunch. Got a little bit of whipped cream going on. And by the way, real whipped cream for 1 tablespoon is only 60 calories. That's it. So you can all have it. Not a problem whatsoever. Boy, that's looking good. Okay, and one more strawberry. Let me get this out of the way so I can show you. You want to get fancy? Just take a small little paring knife. Cut down your strawberry. As many or as little as you want. Give it a little fan. There. That's what they do in the fancy restaurants. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Yum. Now that looks delicious. Okay, so have I convinced you? I don't know. It is not hard. It is so not hard to eat healthy. You can't tell me that you don't have time to do it. You can't tell me that it's difficult. I've just showed you how easy this can be. It looks so good. Who wouldn't want to eat this way? You know what you're eating. You're eating as fresh and close to nature as possible. That's what you want to do. You know what? Get off the couch, get in the kitchen, start cooking, and start doing it the right way. Thanks for watching.